There are roads meant to take you somewhere, and then there are roads that seem to take something from you. This one doesn't announce itself. No sign warns you, no barrier stops you. It looks like an ordinary stretch of asphalt cutting through the vast, empty desert. And that's exactly why it works. On official maps, it barely exists. A thin, insignificant line, unnamed, uncelebrated. Locals call it different things. To truckers, it's just the cut. To the state, it's a simple service road. But to the families of the missing, it's the last place anyone ever saw them alive. Search and rescue teams have another name for it, one they never use publicly. So why do people keep using it? The answer is simple. The road saves time. Nearly 3 hours compared to the long, winding main highway. Navigation apps, especially late at night when traffic is low, will often recommend it. It feels like a secret, a clever shortcut. But once you make that turn, once your headlights slice into the darkness, something changes. The ambient lights from distant towns disappear. Your cell signal fades to nothing, and the immense, silent desert closes in around you. The first case that should have raised alarms was in 1996. A man named Elliot Crane, 36 years old, a construction supervisor with no history of substance abuse or mental health issues, drove the road at dusk. He was expected home by midnight. He never arrived. 4 days later, search teams found his vehicle. It was parked neatly on the shoulder, engine off with the keys still inside. The fuel tank was half full. The driver's door was left wide open, as if he had just stepped out for a moment. But here's the detail that chills investigators to this day. There were no footprints. Not leading away from the car, not leading back, just nothing. The desert sand was undisturbed. Authorities came to the easy explanation: exposure. They concluded he likely wandered into the desert, got disoriented, and succumbed to the elements. Case closed. Except no body was ever found. Not then, and not in all the years since. And this is a desert that returns everything eventually. Bones surface after a few seasons. Scraps of clothing resurface. Elliot Crane did not. Then it happened again, and again, and again. Over the next 2 decades, at least 18 people vanished along that same lonely stretch of road. Different vehicles, different backgrounds, different reasons for travel. The only constant was the road itself. As the disappearances mounted, unofficial patterns began to emerge. Most vanished between 11:30 p.m. and 4 o'clock a.m. The weather was almost always calm and clear. In every instance, the vehicles were found intact, with no signs of a struggle, and no remains were ever recovered. People didn't crash their cars. They didn't appear to flee in a panic. They just stepped away. Among the long-haul community, truckers started sharing warnings. Not publicly, but quietly, from one driver to another, rules you only learn after years on the road. Don't stop if you hear voices on your radio that aren't supposed to be there. Don't pull over for stranded cars, no matter how real they look. Don't follow strange flashing lights in the distance. And above all, don't get out of your truck, no matter what you think you see or hear. And one rule repeated more than any other: if you get the feeling you're being watched, just keep driving. In 2009, a woman named Maribel Santos almost became another name on the list. Her car overheated just after midnight. She pulled onto the shoulder. That was mistake number 1. She didn't see anyone, but she heard footsteps. Slow, measured, and far too close to her car. Then her radio turned on by itself. It started with static, then morphed into a low, deep humming sound. It wasn't music and it wasn't speech. It was something else entirely. Maribel remembers gripping the steering wheel, her heart racing, her eyes fixed straight ahead on the dark road. The next thing she knew, the sun was rising. Her engine was running. She looked at her phone and saw that 4 hours had passed, a block of time completely missing from her memory. Her dash cam, however, had recorded everything. For 4 hours, the footage shows her car sitting perfectly still. No movement, no people, no animals, no explanation for the footsteps or the hum. Then, at exactly 4:11 a.m., the video shows the engine starting, as if someone had just turned the key. People disappear everywhere. It's a tragic fact of life. But most disappearances leave something behind: evidence, remains, witnesses, a story. This road leaves nothing, not even mistakes. Geological surveys later revealed a massive magnetic anomaly running directly beneath that stretch of road, strong enough to interfere with GPS, radios, and even modern vehicle electronics. But magnetism doesn't explain lost time. It doesn't explain why people would willingly exit their cars and leave no footprints behind. The disappearances aren't random either. They cluster within a specific 12-mile section. Locals who know the stories avoid it completely. They will drive an extra 5 hours just to go around it. And if you ask them why, they'll just shake their head and change the subject. Some of the elders in the area claim the road was built over something much older, a path used long before asphalt and engines, a route that was never meant for human travelers. They have a name for it, but they won't say it aloud. In 2017, a retired investigator obsessed with the cold cases decided to document the road himself. He mounted his vehicle with cameras, sensors, and tracking devices. He entered the road at night, determined to find an answer. He never exited. His dash cam footage was recovered weeks later. It shows him driving calmly, talking to himself, narrating what he sees. Then, at 2:17 a.m., he stops mid-sentence. He tilts his head, listening to something outside the range of the camera's microphone. And then he whispers, "Do you hear that?" The recording cuts out. So why is the road still open? Why are there no warnings, no closures, no barriers? Because officially, nothing is happening. There is no crime to investigate, no suspect to pursue, no proof of foul play. There are just people who, for all intents and purposes, simply stop existing. This brings us to the one question that dismantles every theory. If people are dying out there, where are the bodies? Why does this desert return everything except them? Every missing person case has a last known location. For these 18 souls, and maybe more we don't know about, it's always the same road. It's still open. It's still used. And it's still waiting. The most unsettling part is that it doesn't have to chase anyone. People drive right into it, willingly, looking for a shortcut. Thanks for watching. This is Dark Trace.